There are 10 polling units in Mbalom Council Ward with almost 6,000 registered voters. And I'm here at Aya polling unit, the headquarters of Mbalom Council Ward in Gwe East local government, to sample opinion among voters. What exactly is their reason for voting today? Because on the 9th of March, election materials were destroyed here. They were running helter-skelter for fear of attacks, like it was in 2018 when 2 Catholic priests and 17 worshippers were murdered.
The election today is generally peaceful. There is a lot of security here in Agana Unit, Mbalom Council Ward of Gwe East local government area. Unlike the other previous gubernatorial election, but in the case of the gubernatorial election, no electoral materials were seen here. Today, electoral materials are left here area. We started even voting. I personally have voted. There is no case. We have a lot of security on the ground. We have no hitches. We are conducting the election in a very peaceful manner.
The mood we had when those violent elements came and destroyed the election material, the mood was like when priests and church worshippers were murdered here in our community. We thought it was the same terrorists that have invaded our community. But we later discovered that they only were after the election materials and they left. But today, the mood is different. We can see security around, within our community everywhere, and every place is calm and we feel safe.
We are hoping that the security agencies will keep vigil and retain this peace here till voting is over, counting is done, and they live here in peace. From Aya polling unit, Mbalom Council Ward in Gwe East local government, Pius Angbo reporting for Channels Television News.
All right, welcome back to our coverage of the supplementary elections from our broadcast headquarters here in Lagos. And before the break, we're talking to Professor Jinodu, and of course, he put up some proposals which would be expected to be implemented in the run-up to 2023. But now we're being joined by a representative of the electoral umpire, National Commissioner Dr. Lecky is in Lecky is in Lagos. We always speak to you from Abuja, but today you are in Lagos.
I'm just wondering how you're feeling today. How do you feel?
Well, it's a mixed feeling. We're hoping for some form of relief, but what we are hearing across a number of states is a bit
what are you hearing?
The issue of violence in small election. Well, I mean, no election is small, but I mean, these are supplementary elections. And to have this sort of thing happening in some states, several states, I mean, it's uncalled for.
But it's good you're here, because I was asking our last panelist what will happen with Okum, where about 13,000 materials for voters were destroyed. So is the election over in that area, or are you going to conduct another one?
Well, we don't have provision for supplementary after supplementary. So it's not provided for. We are guided very strictly by the electoral framework. So we cannot do supplementary. So some of those things, those violence cannot be rewarded. So they may just call it a zero vote.
Yeah, but if people know that if they disrupt, it's just going to go like that.
Yes.
Is there no, can I ask you offset whether there's no provision in your budget for security? So, I don't know what else we can do, because you continue to hear INEC say it's out of their hands when it's security related. Is there nothing else? Now we're learning from our lessons.
Yeah, I don't think it's a budget thing. I mean, whether the money is in INEC's budget or in security budget, the budget comes from the same in the government. It needs to utilize the budget. But for the purpose of clarity, we don't have security budget within the INEC's budget. We don't pay them. We don't really do. The only thing we do is on election day, those 3 guys you see that stay around the polling units unarmed, we provide them with stipend for food. It's about 1,000 naira. So for 3 of the 3,000 naira and no more. And that's what it is. So, but
you don't have operational control over any of these security
we really don't. We don't have their money. I think money is a form of a leverage, and we don't have that lever, in itself. So there are a lot of conversation that needs to happen going forward, clearly, because we just can't continue like this.
Do you see that conversation starting? Because after when was the last election? 2015. We will start a conversation. Yes. And here we are again. We've been saying that on this panel, that we seem to know where the problems are. Yeah. But that never guides us going forward.
Yeah, I think we need to locate responsibilities for starting the conversation and taking it forward. And I think you guys, people like you guys, have a major role to play. because you are the conversation moderators, so to say.
Okay.
I just talked about that now.
Okay.
Moderating conversation.
You mentioned you are in Lagos, so
Yes.
I want to start from the election that is taking place in Lagos. Here. That's the one in Lecky.
Yes.
That's a much smaller election than even the others in other places.
I think about nine polling units. Yeah.
Polling units are involved, but the reports we got indicated that the voter turnout was quite poor. Did you get that same report?
Yes, I just spoke to the REC, coming because even though I'm off duty in Lagos, I'm in Lagos and elections are happening today. I spoke to him. He said everything is peaceful. And peaceful, also
peaceful
because,
is one thing.
it's one thing, but the voter turnout is very low. We've had this sort of problem with off-season kind of election in Lagos.
Do you think INEC did enough? Because even those who I spoke to who live in that area were, oh, really? There's an election. They had no idea.
Yeah.
Do you think you did enough as the commission? Like a lot of people are talking about radio, perhaps it should have been out there.
Yeah, right. INEC can never do enough. I mean, because everybody sees INEC has to be the thing. INEC is not running for election. INEC does not need votes, really.
But
we only count the votes. I mean, the timetable has been set, scheduled activity has been pronounced and made public in our social media. You have also announced it. We're not running. There are candidates who want to vote.
No, Dr. Lecky, I will not accept that because there was a press conference.
Yes.
And they had said they would upload all the areas where the election is happening on the website.
Yes.
And I said, how many people will know it is there?
Beyond that, but this is made available to the political parties. The resident electoral commission know this, and they are more in touch with people in their states. People who know the election have not been concluded, they have greater stake than even INEC in itself to mobilize it.
They
want the votes. We only count the votes that are cast. They should go out and get the votes.
But you're the one that puts the ballot. For instance,
let me
the
ask this question.
What you're saying essentially is more or less what Professor Jinadu also pointed out, which is that it is a misnomer to expect INEC, which is the electoral management body, to actually be the one canvassing people for votes. But then, because Nigerians have gotten used to hearing everything from INEC, you can't really blame those who say, well, it's your job to let us know when you are going to...
Ladi, you need to tell them not to be listening to INEC alone. They should listen to people who want their votes.
Parties are contesting that election.
Yeah, because we are the umpire now.
The new ballot paper, INEC is the one who has charge of that, the ballot paper.
Yes.
It's your responsibility to tell us, how does that ballot paper work? Where do you turn print? Is it the political parties who will also step for how to use the ballot paper?
Yeah, because actually I think so. Because now, but you may disagree with me. We've printed this. We made samples available to key stakeholders. We've uploaded it, so you know what it looks like. We've shown how it should be folded. We've done all this. Parties are the ones that need the votes. They are the ones that want to represent us. So they should come and sell themselves and they should mobilize people to come out to vote. They're not doing mobilization. Right? They are doing carnage at points of voting.
There's 9 polling units in Lecky.
Yes.
The elections there, you said the report you got from the REC is that they're peaceful.
Yes.
Okay. But you also accept that the voter turnout was quite poor, which is what led to
there was nobody there.
discussion
Yes.
and all that.
Yes.
But where are they now in terms of the process?
As we speak?
Yes, because you said you spoke to the REC.
Yeah, they're collating. If we look at the time, they are collating.
So we should expect to get a result from there in very short
quickly
order.
too, because first for the votes are few, so they are easier to count, and so yes, clearly.
So you think the votes should always be few then? We should be able to.
We can close earlier, Abi.
This matter of the elections and how INEC runs it. You said earlier that everybody expects INEC to do everything.
Yes.
Now, we've had particular things happening consistently over time. You also said something about there's no supplementary after the supplementary.
No, there's not.
So if the people, and in bylaw, if the people disrupt the elections for themselves, that's their business, right?
Yes.
So what happens to the electoral offenders? Is INEC not empowered, just for the purpose of education here, is INEC empowered to prosecute?
Yes, we're empowered to prosecute.
Is INEC prosecuting?
Well, we prosecute those people that the IP, the police people have been able to investigate, and they will go forward and they prosecute them.
How many of them have been successful?
We've done some. We've done in Mijibiri in Kano, in a runoff, in an off-season election that we did. About 40 people were prosecuted and they were jailed. But these are people who are like urchins, who are foot soldiers. So we've not gotten the mother hands, really. And we know that people are, look at what happened in a place like Kano today. Blood in people's, somebody is behind that now. So who is that person? People don't know.
Is it that INEC cannot investigate to the point of locating those mother hens?
What are you talking about? We are not policemen. They investigate cases. We are trying to share our load and say even the issue of this Electoral Affairs Commission should be taken off our hand. The issue of taken off our hand. The issue of registration should be taken off our hand. We are so loaded, and people are still blaming INEC for everything. We want to be made lean and small. We don't want to.
INEC outsource?
But the framework has to allow us to outsource. They should free up the framework.
No, Dr. Lecky, 1 second. Hold on. The law says INEC has the power to conduct elections, to put out guidelines for the conduct of the elections.
Right.
In other words, if INEC decides we're going to conduct election tomorrow. Just clarify here.
Yes.
We're going to conduct elections tomorrow. We need Ijeoma to handle this mob. Can INEC do that?
I think you are taking the liberalism a bit too far. Will you accept that? Let's be frank.
No, I'm just asking because you need to deliver on this.
We would like to, but you can see what we do with technology, even with the issue of the smart card reader. That was tangled up in the court system all the way to the Supreme Court, in which we are now asked that it should be properly located within the law. That was taking the liberty to the extent of bringing in the smart card reader into our election. And you see the fate that is suffered in the course of 2015, post-2015 election, adjudication of cases. That's what asking us to, can we do that? We've gone that far. You can see what happened. And the challenge is that some people want everything to be in the legislation. It cannot be, And so I think we need to just be freed from major things and say this you don't do.
Dr. Ginoju said something that between 2011 and 2019, INEC has done a lot to clean up the system.
Yes.
Commendable.
Yes.
Which part is what?
No, that Dr. Ginoju said commendable. But then there's one demon that seemed there's one demon that appears to refuse death or suppression. That's the demon of logistics. Now, INEC, every election looks for help from the NURT to help deliver these materials.
Yes.
And that continues to be a problem.
It is a problem.
Every year.
Yes.
Is it that INEC is not thinking on how to settle that thing once and for all?
Yes, we're thinking about it, but you see...
But the thinking starts at the...
No. Well, see, what we have to realize that election in Nigeria tasks everybody and every sector, including the media. You are grappling with news and contending with late-breaking news, how to manage it and present in a way that people can understand, digest, and use. You are tasked to the limit. So every sector is tasked. So it shouldn't be now. What happens in other countries? The security is tasked to the limit. And you now find that you have vehicles that are not motorable. We have to get Federal Safety Commission to go and sanction those motors. Them motors are okay before we can even rent them. And now find that half of them are lookable. You see them in the pictures.
Who would streamline
this?
So is it not INEC that will help to streamline this whole thing so that it doesn't task everybody?
They should take some of the responsibility. They should take some of the
there are some responsibilities that are core INEC. For instance, that logistics thing. You can't say, it's your show, run it. You can't say, this is the problem with my partner.
I agree with you. I'm not trying to say that we should run away from everything. Logistics, I'm not saying we should run away. There are some of them which are central to what INEC does. But you have to also look at things that happen over time, over space and time, that impact on INEC's logistics. Who knew that we're going to have 90 what? Parties. As we speak now, there are 125 parties waiting in the wind to be registered. They are qualified. The only reason why we didn't register is because we ran out of time. So now if they come back now in February, March or something, we'll register them.
Who sets the conditions for a party to be registered?
It's the Constitution. All you have to do is form an association, your market, your town people association. If you write us, within 30 days you don't hear from us, you are a registered party.
Is INEC not empowered to take a certain level of criteria to the Supreme Court for clarity as to when political parties...
Now, see, at the Supreme Court, well, I'm not a lawyer, Supreme Court, and because we've had issue where we said, let us go and ask for clarity on this issue. The judge cases don't give you clarity. So if you bring a case, then you will decide it, you learn from that case and make policy out of that. We don't go there to ask for clarity on the how to implement
yes, but Dr. Lecky, a thing like resuming the polls at 8 uniformly across the state, that should be achievable now.
Yes, I mean, Joma, these things are easy to say. I don't know how many places you have been to. Me, before I came into INEC, I was working in the health sector, delivering, health system in various local places where they are not motorable. I mean, you can't. You get this Nigerian Union of Road Transport to come to your place by 5 a.m. You are waiting for them to come. Because the guy is either sleeping or something.
What's the backup plan?
What backup plan? What are the backup plans?
So is this how it's going to continue?
But the other backup plan for them to trek from there, from the rack to the polling unit, if they're not near enough.
We seem to have started the conversation that ought to start after the election.
Thank you very much.
I want to bring you back.
Okay, to the election.
Back to today.
We have election today.
What are the reports that you're receiving from other places? We know that today, 18 states are having pockets of elections, and of course the FCT as well.
Yes.
What are the reports you are having? Because what we have here, for example, in Kano, in Bauchi, that there have been skirmishes here and there.
Yes.
In the case of Bauchi, the voters themselves had to take up the responsibility of chasing